Drawing children can be one of the most challenging things for artists. Too many times they end up looking just like scaled down adults. And hey, don't beat yourself up over it. This problem goes way back. Good news is, there are just a few things that you can tweak in how you approach drawing faces that will keep your adults looking mature and your kids looking cute. Today, I will show you the science behind facial geometry of various ages and teach you the best ways to practice drawing for maximum progress fast. Starting with a profile view. This handsome guy is going back in time. We see him here as a man, as a boy, and as a toddler. But wait, hold everything. This looks advanced and complex, and how on earth do we even start something like this? Well, let us go back in time now and see what actually happens inside my head before I even put anything on paper. It all starts with a straight line. Now we're going to pin 3 eyeballs on this line. 3 identical eyeballs. That's your first trick. It's not that adult eyes are smaller or baby eyes are bigger. They're actually the same. It's the rest of the face that's different. Look at the heads. Boom, boom, boom. Note the difference. While the brain box remains pretty huge on every specimen, the lower part of the face is quite different between the 3. See how long the jaw gets as the man ages? And the little baby? He's practically round. Let's add some ears now. While the ear's position remains the same, the size also changes dramatically with age. Noses. Before placing noses, I like to mark where they will go first. This geometry happens in my head all the time, every time that I sit down to sketch. Note the radical difference in that distance between the nose line and the eye line on all 3 heads. And note what it does to the features. The eyes are still the same, yet looking at the baby, he appears all adorable and doe-eyed like an anime character, while the adult looks serious and beady-eyed and muscular. Our boy is somewhere in between. His nose is not quite so long yet, and he still has those pudgy baby cheeks, but he's already shaping to be a man. If you guys want to grab these guides, by the way, to use as reference for your own facial proportion studies, I put up a bundle of these pages as a free gift for everyone. Print them out, copy them, doodle on them, hope they help. Just scan this QR code or follow the clickable link below. Now, the mouths. You're probably picking up on a pattern here. Even working in this profile view, we can clearly see how much larger and wider the adult mouth gets as the jaw expands with age. The little baby has this itty bitty tiny bow tie mouth, and his cheek is legendary. Big hamster cheeks on the baby. And still some baby fat on the boy. None on the man though. Lots of obvious bone structure instead. Now we can add the eyebrows and the eyelids to our schematic of the man, boy, baby, and it's basically done. Let's take a closer look at the important elements. Eyes, all the same. Noses, radically different and getting larger and larger with age. But it's this, the lower part of the face and the chin, that really define the age of the human. And finally, the outlines will reveal those iconic silhouettes of all 3 ages. If facial geometry and drawing portraits in general is something that appeals to you, consider joining my full course called The Easy Way to Draw Faces, where I break down facial geometry and anatomy even further. And you get to practice on every imaginable facial angle. Now let's talk about how to convey that age through 3D shading and how to practice that shading correctly. This type of fuzzy sketching is life-changing, and I encourage you to try it. Instead of sketching with the obligatory graphite that always smudges and never comes out looking the way that you want, try sketching with a colored pencil instead. Any color pencil. Actually, the less realistic, the better. I like doing these 3D studies in blue, purple, red, or brown, but I've even done them in green. This method of sketching is also something that I teach in depth in my course, The Fundamentals of Drawing. That's another one you might consider if you're serious about drawing. I like to draw on lightly toned paper. This is pale gray cardstock. Working with a dusty purple on gray already looks so much softer and more pleasant on the eyes than the harsh gray graphite would ever look on white. And an added bonus, it kinda prevents you from using an eraser, which is a good thing. Too many art students rely on the eraser too heavily in the sketching step. Don't. Let your hand dance around the page. Make adjustments, add, don't subtract. A single line that you're forcing to go in its correct position is easy to misplace. It doesn't take much for the whole sketch to look lopsided if something is off by just a hair. Building up shadows in this manner prevents that from happening. We're not forcing a single line in its designated position. This is more like watching a photograph come to life in developing liquid. Anyone here old enough to know what that is? Once we have a nice ghostly image, now we can come in with a stronger color, and now we can start working out more detail. But this isn't meant to be a finished, beautiful drawing. This is just a study in shape and shadow. Practice these a lot. Remember that you have my guides to print as well. You can pin them as references, you can trace them, you can use the line drawings to practice adding light and shadow if you're not comfortable drawing yet. All practice is good practice. Once you can comfortably doodle these 3D sketches, you can move up to finer detail in realistic portrait draws. But not until you master this. Let's take a look at the frontal view now. Here we have a grown woman and a little girl, possibly the same person or mother and daughter maybe. Again, I'm starting with a very pale colored pencil. The full potential of this pencil is actually pale, so no matter how much of this pigment I add, I can't make it any stronger. And that's the magic of this strategy. This is exactly what you want to see. Your first color needs to be gentle and subtle. This way you can create these ghostly sketches. I bring in more information with a mid-tone brown on cream-toned paper this time for variety. And if even more detail is needed, I'll come in with a dark brown. These are quick too. They're meant to be. Practice these loosely and don't sweat the detail. Remember, add, line after line, stroke after stroke. Sculpt these faces as if finger painting in the sand. Practicing this type of sketching is great for muscle memory. But what actually makes this woman look like a woman and the girl look like a girl? Their features are almost identical. It's all about proportion. I once again pinned the eyes on the same imaginary line for the sake of the demo. The eyes are the same size, but the heads are radically different, with the adult head extending much further down than the child head. This immediately makes the child's eyes look bigger and as if they're set apart wider. The whole bottom part of the face is significantly smaller on the child, which also makes the forehead look larger by comparison. Note also how everything on the child is softer and rounder. The chin, the eyebrows, the nose. Practice shading gently and in circular motions on your 3D sketches. And now that you have a better understanding of how to draw children, check out this video on how to draw adult faces from different angles and how the facial geometry changes as the head tilts in any direction. Faces in portraits are a complicated topic, but once you understand the underlying structure, small things like age or features or angle of the head or lighting will only make things more interesting for you rather than more complicated. So keep drawing and keep learning.